What's up, everybody? So we're back out in the shop with another Shop Talk Tuesday. If you're new to this video series, what this is all about is a commentary based type thing where I pretty much talk the whole entire time, but it is about relevant topics to knife making and creating stuff in general. So go ahead and watch this video. This one, man, this topic is something that hits a lot of knife makers pretty hard, and it can really deflate your sales, take the wind out of them real easily, especially whenever you're trying to knock out a whole bunch of different things. But today's topic is about failures. Never fun, never amazing. If you don't automatically just throw everything in the trash and you take the time to learn from it, it can be a good thing, kind of a blessing in disguise. But that's what today's topic's about. It's about failures and what you can take from them. So if you don't know why this is today's topic, it's because I had a knife that I just put a lot of hours into, and it ended up not working out. At first, man, I was ready to start a fire. But I took the time and I thought about it and I learned from that error, and I'm going to talk to y'all about it today. So, if y'all follow me on Facebook on the TRE workshop and y'all see some of the things that I'm working on a day-to-day basis, if you're not on the TRE workshop Facebook page, definitely go over there, check it out. I've got a link in the description, so there you go. Now, I had a Go My knife that I was working on. If you watched last week's Shop Talk Tuesday, I talked about it briefly. This knife, this Go My knife that I've been working on, I got all the way to doing the bevels and doing all that stuff before I really realized that it had some issues. I knew that it had a little bit of issues going into that process, but I thought maybe I could grind them out because they do that crap on Forged in Fire, right? You'll see all kinds of delaminations, you'll see all kinds of stuff that happen on Forged in Fire. And they're like, just grind it out. It'll be fine. And they're like, shit, I'm going to grind this all out. They get it ground out. Then they end up freaking hammering a brick in half with the dang thing. So I thought, I don't know, maybe that'll work with mine. No. That's not how it worked out. Not at all. So that knife, it had some delamination issues. Now, I thought that I could grind through them a little bit and it'd be fine. So what I did, and by the way, this knife is in 3 pieces right now, was I ground all the way up to figure out where it started actually becoming one piece. And it was right up here and all the way up at the top. Not a good look. So what I did was I decided to go ahead and snap test this to look at the grain structure, and I'm kind of happy that this had delamination issues because the heat treat was wrong. So I'm going to show you this real quick. Look at how huge that grain structure is. Looks like crystals. It's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be nice and smooth. So whenever you snap through it, it's supposed to just look like a sheet of gray. You're not supposed to see any of those shiny, reflective crystals like that. So I thought, blessing in disguise that this ended up not working, because if I would have left it as it was, it would have been a subpar knife. Now, even though I put so many hours into this knife, I thought, you know what, it's good that this happened, because two things. For one, I have an idea about what happened whenever this ended up having the fatal flaw of delamination. I'm going to talk to y'all about that a little bit in this video. The video that's going to come out on Friday is about the new billet and me working with that. But I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about this. So, why it worked out for me. I learned a few things. So, in making this, whenever I first started bringing it up to temperature, whenever it was just the stacked piece of steel that was welded with my welder together on the actual rod, whenever I first put it into the forge, I didn't realize that I was running out of propane at that time. So I brought it up to temperature, and then the forge started dying. Now, I was able to keep the forge going just long enough for me to rush and get another tank of propane and come back, and by the time I got back, the forge was still going a little bit, but it went from forge welding temps down to maybe 800, 900 degrees in there. And you wouldn't think that it would let that much oxygen come in order to get the oxidation or this forge scale in between the layers, but it did. So I'm going to see if I can find one of these pieces where you can actually see it well. Okay, we'll go with this right here. So you can see there was nothing on here, but you can see right here where it's that darker gray color. So this is the very center core. There's two layers on the outside of this piece right here, where this is. And then there's two layers on this piece. All that dark gray, that's where oxidation was. Not oxidation, but forge scale. So it never had a chance to really bind, because I let it get down too low in temperature and screwed it up. So that was my main issue. Now, I did get it to forge weld in certain sections and all that, but it didn't forge weld all the way through the main part of the knife. That was the issue that I ended up having right off the bat. And then I made the mistake of, whenever I was drawing out the billet, I needed a little bit of extra length for the handle. So I started forging, go right here. I started forging right here to forge the tang out just a little bit to get a little extra length. And whenever I did that, it started splitting the layers. So you can see there's a gap in between here. It started splitting those layers, and I didn't exactly realize that. So little things like that are going to help me with my next billet, which I've already started. This guy right here. So this is a forged out billet right here. You can see my layers. We've got, and I'm doing 1080 and 15N20 on this. So we've got 1080, 15N20, 1080, 15N20, 1080. And we've got it go the center layer all the way down the center there. So what I did differently on this, and you'll see this in the video, I went ahead and focused a ton on just making the billet. Now, of course, this is going to end up getting forged longer. So on this, I took it from a 5/8 thick stack, so 5/8 of an inch thick by 1.5 inches tall by 3.5 inches long. And right now it's forged to 3/8 of an inch thick, 1.5 inches by 4.5. So I've added an extra length in here, or extra inch in length in here, and forged it down from 5/8 to 3/8 in the process. And I kept the layers where they need to be in that process. Now, my goal was just make a solid billet and then take that and forge it out like a piece of steel. So that's what I did on this one. Now, it's something just a little bit different, me learning from the process and figuring this stuff out. Now, that knife, this one that's in 3 pieces, I could have been so frustrated by that I just decided I'm not working on anything right now, because trust me, that night I was. But it's things like that you have to push yourself through. You have to go, you know what, screw this. I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to make something else happen. So what I did was I took a step back. I worked on a few other projects. I've got a knife that I'm making for a customer right now. It's one of my military inspired knives. Pretty cool. This is out of that 1/4 inch thick file material that I use. So got this one that I'm making for a customer. I've got another one that I'm working on for a later video, and I just put some time and effort into working on those. Got my mojo flowing again, and got another stack set up, started forging. Got to that point. Now the cool thing is, I've got a bunch of steel right here. It's right. I'm having to point right there to point at it in the camera, but if I'm pointing at it, it's all the way over here. That's weird. Okay, anyways, I've got a bunch of steel now. I got a bunch of 15N20. I've got a bunch of 1080, 1095 that I'm going to be working with. Of course, we've got the steel ready for the Damascus billet. I needed this knife to fail in order to be able to get to this billet to then be confident to make that. So sometimes failures are blessings in disguise. Even though, again, it makes you want to like burn stuff because you put 8 hours worth of work into something, and that billet was fully hand forged. So just learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and turn them into a positive and work your way through it. Because as a beginning knife maker, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to have a lot of failures. And don't let that make you go, this isn't the hobby for me, or this isn't the profession for me, or this isn't something that I should be doing. This is something that everybody should try and do. You know, if you're willing to put the time and effort into it, it's an amazing hobby to have. And it's an amazing skill to have that not many people around you are going to have. So, learn from your failures. You know, turn them into a positive. Do something better with it. Cool? Let's talk about the next thing, which is what's going to be happening in future videos. Wait, didn't we already talk about that? Yes, we did. So, Go My video, that's going to be coming out. So we're going to have the first video come out on Friday for that. And I've got to like re-edit some of it because I had that video almost all the way done. So we're going to have that come out. That's going to be like a 30-minute video. So hopefully y'all are up for watching that. It's going to be about 30 minutes long. The Sunday video is going to be the completion of that build. So we're going to have 2-day, 2-part build series for that whole knife. And each video is going to be about 30 minutes long. So little mini movie for y'all to watch. Y'all will have that coming up. And then we're going to be having the Damascus build coming out. And then we got a bunch of other stuff coming up. So there's going to be some stuff. Now, guys, I'm going to hit on the previous thing real quick again. Again, don't let things convince you to not be doing this stuff. Try again. If you had an issue, do it again. Just do it again until you actually get it, and it'll be fine. Now, for the viewer's knife section, this is a person that said, you know what? They had something that didn't work out perfectly, and then they learned from that. and they've made really nice knives since then. So what we're going to have here is a guy named Ed Richards. He's got 3 pictures for y'all to check out. The first one is going to be his first knife that he had made, and then the 2 after that are going to be knives that he has done as some of his latest work, and you'll be able to see the growth in that. This is another one of those viewer's knife parts where I get to show you their first and their more current work, so you can see things that they've done and changed. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut away, and so you can see it full screen. So let's cut away now. So again, we have knives here by Ed Richards. Now this first one, it is actually a pretty good profile, but what he had accidentally did was he ground his bevels all the way up into the spine, and you can see up at the top of that where it kind of notches where the spine is. So the spine of the blade is thinner than the spine of the tang. Instead of it tapering, it's just an instant notch in. And there's a lot of people who just get into knife making who make that mistake, but he learned from that mistake and went forward with it. Now on these next 2 knives, just absolutely cool shapes. I really like this Tonto. It has a cool false edge going across the top, and those scales are actually really cool. I would like to know more about that wood that you have there, Ed. And of course, nice leather sheath. And then this last one, really like this profile. It's actually one of my favorite profiles of knives. I like the handle shape, I like the wood that you chose there, and that is a beautiful profile. That's a great job right there, but you can see the growth in just the way that he did his grinds, the way that he did his bevels from that first to this last one. Well, Ed, awesome job on those knives. If you would, go down in the comment section and tell us more about the materials that you used in each one. I know that the first one you did was a type of maple, but I would like to know more about the woods and the steels that you used. So if you would, go down in the comment section, tell us a little bit more about them. Guys, if y'all would, go down in the comment section and tell Ed what you thought about his knives. You know, that's a great example of, you know, getting that first knife and just finishing it, even though you see that there's a error there, you still finished it, you still knocked it out, finished out the knife, and then you learn from that and let that travel into the knives that you made after that. So learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and do better at knife making. Guys, again, go down in the comment section, tell them about it. Now, we have all kinds of stuff coming up in the future that we're going to be doing, and next year is going to be an awesome year. So I'm excited about a lot of the things that we're going to be working on and the growth that is going to happen with the shop. Because we're literally going to grow the shop. There's just so many things that y'all are going to be able to watch that is not just knife making, because I'm going to take y'all along on the full shop build from the foundation up. You're going to be able to see all of that stuff. You're going to be able to see decisions that I make on where I put things and how I decide to separate it out, because I'm going to have a grind room, so a room that's just dedicated to grinding machines and things like that. And then we'll have the forge area. It's just going to be a cool setup, and you'll be able to see my thought process behind building it from scratch. So it's going to be a cool year. Now guys, that's pretty much the end of this one. If y'all would, give this video a thumbs up, share this video or one of my other videos. If you haven't yet, go down that bottom corner, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you get notified of the stuff that we have that's coming up. And guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending the time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll catch y'all next time.